Morning, everyone, and welcome to a weekly message from Jesus. Each week, we try to bring you a new message fresh from God, because Jesus was God incarnate. And the messages are incredible. We've been doing this for several years now, and there's a world of information available if you listen to our past broadcasts. And there'll be a world of information available today. So our Father's here, and let us begin. Good morning, everyone. Yes, you are living in an information world. When I walked the earth, everything was local. You had to speak to small groups because we didn't have social media and we didn't have television and all the things that you have. You didn't have the internet. Today, Barry has the ability to talk around the world, to speak my message to anyone wants to hear. But that is the problem. There are so few that want to hear my words. There are many that flock to the churches thinking that that is the ultimate place to go to hear my words. And yes, the ministers that speak, they're doing their best. They're talking about what they were taught. But what you have to understand is that through the years, my teachings were, shall we say, modified. People put in what they thought I was saying or what they thought I meant. I spoke the words that I meant. They were very simple. I would speak to small groups. I would speak to those that wanted to hear me. When I walked the earth, there were many that walked away from me. I would try to tell them that I am speaking of this great place, a place called heaven, a place that exists, that they have souls. Do you understand that in those days, no one was educated? There were those that had studied Greek and Roman and all of the other things. They could speak Latin. They could do many things, but they had no way of truly knowing what God was. The Jewish faith had some idea. They knew there was one God. They knew that Moses had brought the people to the Judea area. They knew more about God than other religions. But as in all religions, the leaders often decided that they wanted personal power. They thought that if they spoke to the people, now I'm speaking of the Jewish leaders, because as you know, I didn't wind up well with them. They thought that they knew more than I did. They feared me. They'd heard rumors that I was going to be king of the Jews. Well, I wasn't. The last thing in the world that I wanted was to be king of anything. I wanted simply my words to bring people closer to God, to understanding the heaven that existed, the heaven that was all around them. You see, they couldn't see it. So when you can't see something, quite often you think it doesn't exist. But heaven truly does exist. It exists every day of your human life. It has existed for billions of years before you walked on the earth, and it will exist billions of years after the earth is gone. Now, I'm not saying there's anything going to happen in the immediate future unless humans decide to make it happen. There will not be an event that will end life on earth. It could be. There was an event that basically ended life of the dinosaurs because I needed to move ahead. I needed to do things. I needed to create humans. And I couldn't very well do it when you had these huge animals that were fine for their time. But they would have made it impossible for humans. They would have been an appetizer for humans. So I had to do something, and I did. The dinosaurs disappeared from the face of the earth, clearing the path for humans. And I brought humans to the earth. I didn't bring them through Adam and Eve. I evolved them. And then all of a sudden, I saw that I had to make a sudden change because things weren't quite going the way I wanted. So I created the form that you're in today. What you see today is the result of millions of years of advanced planning on the part of the guides, the spirits in heaven. Today, humans are what they are. They have evolved into what They are at this present time using their free will. They made some good choices. They've made some horrendous choices. Name a civilization that still exists from ancient times. It doesn't. Because the leadership, they always use their free will to take advantage of the people, and the people get tired of it and overthrow them. And then that's the end of that civilization. Is it going to happen to the United States, to the European nations? I can answer it, but I won't. That is up to your free will. I know what the future is going to lie, and I know what it's not going to lie. So get used to it. I am not going to tell you the future. I'm going to hint at things. I'm going to tell you things to make it far better. But I will never overcome the free will of humans. That is the ultimate means of human evolution. I want you to make your own decisions. I want you to decide whether you're going to follow my words or whether you're not. You see, it's very simple. You either do or you don't. Now, there are many that don't and say they do, and I realize who they are. And when they return to heaven, they'll be told. Many of them still try to lie when they return to heaven. Just because its soul's out of its body doesn't say it cannot try to deceive us. Well, you can't. We know. And the ultimate end is you will be placed where you should be placed in the realms of heaven. You will be judged for how you lived your life. Do not think that you can wait until that last day, the day that you're getting ready to come into heaven, and ask me to forgive you. I'm not. You are not going to be forgiven by me. You are going to be judged by the life that you live. Why would I step in and change all of the things, all the lessons that you either learned or didn't learn? That was the whole reason of you returning as a human. Humans have to make their own decisions. There's no way around it. I am not going to interfere. And you have got to learn that you will live in heaven as in a way that you determined in your human life. Pretty simple. You live a good life, you're judged well when you return to heaven. You do many things badly, hurt others, kill, steal, do many things that I don't want you to do, and you'll be judged for it. There's no hell. So trust me when I tell you, you're not going to be sent to hell. That's something that the religious leaders through the years decided they had to come up with. You'll never see where I spoke of hell when I walked the earth. That is a fact. Look at study the historic time that hell came into existence. Everyone likes to use your AI, as you call it. Go to AI and ask them when hell first was mentioned. You may be surprised. It's strange how something that became so important to the church was not mentioned for hundreds of years. Everything in history can pretty much be checked on today. Study it. But you will never, ever truly know the words that I spoke unless you listen to my messages. I am telling you what I spoke of. I'm telling you the exact words. I'm telling you the meanings. I'm telling you how simple it is. I am telling you that you are truly responsible for how you will be judged when you return to heaven. There's no way around it. Live a good life. That's all you have to do. Help others. Show love. Teach your children of me. Teach others that God truly exists. Never ever tell others that heaven and God don't exist. If you lead people away from me, you are affecting others, and you will truly be judged for that. And it will not be the way you want to be judged. You are responsible for how you live your life. No one else. You can blame the information you hear. That's fine. You can blame anything you want. You might, when you were born, you may have had a lesson you had to learn as a child. You may have had bad parents. You can blame them. But you are still responsible for your own life. You're still responsible for what you do. If you listen to others and let them affect you, and they draw you away from me, that's a decision you're making. Yes, they're leading you, but you don't have to follow. You always have the chance to know whether you want to lead or to follow. You have the opportunity to hear what's on my mind. I'm speaking pretty distinctly today. I'm telling you maybe a little more firmly than usual. I know you're used to hearing a minister getting on the pedestal in front of the church and using this elaborate story of what I meant. And it takes him an hour to explain it. Now, I ask you this. Do you think I could have talked to people in my time, to the uneducated, and taken an hour to explain something? The answer is no. The people in my time were very impatient. It was not unusual to see people stoned to death, to be stabbed. There was much violence. There was a lot of violence when I walked the earth. I respected that. When people were so vehemently opposed to what I was saying, I would simply stop. I did not want to create a violent situation. I expect the same out of you today. You should not create violence. There are religions that are creating violence in my name. That is not the way of things. In the Bible, you see that I sent angels back to kill 100,000 people. That's a lie. Why would I use my angels of peace, angels of goodness? There are no fallen angels. They're all my servants. Why would I ever send them back to kill 100,000 humans? Yes, if I had, their souls would have returned to earth, but I would never do something like that. That would be affecting the life plans, not only of the people that were killed, but of their families. In those days, the men had to support the families. It was hard work. You had to trade. You had to raise your own gardens. You had to raise your own animals. Why would I take away 100,000 humans so that their families would perish? Ask yourself that. So you see, common sense. I'm going to change the subject a little bit. Let's talk about common sense. Each human has a spark of my energy within their hearts. That energy creates a feeling for you, a common sense type thing. You know what's right. You know what's wrong. Why? Why do you do what's wrong when you know what's right? You see, when I present it logically, it's very difficult to get away from it. Why do you do what's wrong when you know it's wrong? It makes no sense. I guess the only reason is because you think you can get away with it. There are many criminals that are in prison that only regret what they did because they got caught at it. Well, trust me, when you come to heaven, you will be caught at it. You cannot hide from your judgment. We know what goes on in your life. We sent you back to learn. If you don't learn, that's your fault. That's called free will. You did not use it appropriately. I want each of you to simply focus on simplicity in your life and how you live it. Okay, here it comes, folks. Don't do anything that you do not want done to yourself. That is the ultimate common sense. Would you stick a knife in your arm? No. Would you stick a knife in somebody else? Maybe. So you know the difference, right? Don't do anything that you don't want done to yourself. Now, there are people that are masochistic. I cannot understand them, and I'm God. But I can understand each and every one of you that are listening. Each and every one of you that are listening are wonderful people. You take time out of your day to hear my words. You take time to pass on my words. You do your best to support me. I am so appreciative of that because you're using your free will to do exactly what you were sent back to do. So why do so many people go against their life plans? Well, money. Money's one way to look at it. Everybody wants it. They think it's the greatest thing since sliced cheese. But guess what? You will neither take sliced cheese or money with you to heaven when you die. So it's all over. Why not use that money to help others? Why not do what you can every day of your life to help those that need help? When you drive down the street, you see homeless people. They're not there. The majority are not there because they want to be there. Today, the governments are allowing prices to escalate. If you're on a fixed income, it's a disaster. The government has got to acknowledge the fact that many people that have worked all their lives and retired are on very limited incomes. If you allow prices to expand beyond the area where they can afford to even live, where are they going to go? The government will either have to pay for them or they will have to let them live on the street. What other way is there? Well, you can step in. There are people today that have incredible amounts of money. Life is not a scorecard. Your life on earth is your human life. But what really and truly counts is your soul life. Your scoreboard as a human only is used to determine if you did good or if you did bad. If you die and are worth billions of dollars, those dollars have done you no good. It's only in your mind that that type of wealth is important. You think that multiple yachts, mansions, that's what makes you important in life. But what makes you important in life is what you do to help others. If you do not take time to do that, when you return home, you're going to look down and those mansions are still going to be there, but you are not going to be able to be in the upper realms where you want to be in heaven. It's your choice. Every day when you get up, look in the mirror and say to yourself, how can I help others today? What can I do? How can I go out and assure that when I return, they will look at me and say, you have lived a good life. We are proud of you because we sent you back to do this and you responded to it. Do not be one of these people that have made billions of dollars and have not used it to help others. There are many people in the past and today that are using their fortunes to help others, but there are many that are not. There are many that are trying to give you the perception that they are. There are people with large corporations where the owners are worth billions of dollars, but their employees are scrimping to live every day. They cannot afford to send their children to the schools they need. They're forced to live in apartments, small apartments. Maybe they have 3 or 4 children and they're in a 3-bedroom apartment because these people are not giving them a living wage. And when they return, they will understand the fact that in future lives, they will not be given living wages as well. That is why poverty continues. That is why poverty is very difficult, because it's built on past life karmas. Help me do away with poverty. If everyone helps everyone else, there will be none in the future. Everyone will have a great life. If you live a good life, make the right choices, then all will be well. You will die. That is a fact. Everyone is going to pass. There may be people that think they can keep having organs replanted, but the garden will die. Those organs, they may be planted, but they will be wasted. You're coming home. You're going to be judged. We know how you live your life. We also know that there are many of you that are doing the greatest things that you can do for me. Be in the group that knows what they're doing. There are many that think they know what they're doing and draw away from me. They're the fools. Those of you that take the time to pass on my words, you are the blessed ones. You are the ones that will advance in heaven. You are the ones that will be asked to return again at some time to help serve me. There are many that will have to return, but it will be to wipe off the bad karmas that they did in this life. Don't be in that group. Be in the group that will return to serve me because they served me in this life. Those of you who are listening to me today and doing what I ask of you, you are the ones of which I am so proud. I love everyone. I do not hate. But there are those of you that are doing what I want you to do, and those are the ones I respect. Respect will bring you advancement in my heaven. Show love to others. Live your simple life of love. That's all you have to do. Well, I guess maybe I got a little carried away today, but I'm watching all of the terrible things taking place. And I need to speak frankly. Everyone needs to follow my words, and everyone needs to love one another. I'm blessing all of you. The easiest way to be blessed, is to listen to my messages. So thank you so much. We'll return again next week. I can only tell you how much I appreciate the work that those of you are doing. Thank you. Thank you so much, and goodbye. Wow. Okay. Not much I can say after that one. Thank you. We'll be back again next week. Join us Sunday morning when we do our Sunday sermon. This week on our Friday show, we're going to be back. We had a problem last week. And this week on Friday night, we're going to have Justice Ginsburg and Justice Scalia in a debate. It's going to be great. Thank you so much for listening, and goodbye.